Hi, welcome to our channel of IGNOU audiobooks. Indira Gandhi National Open University, School of Management Studies, SOMS, Master's Degree Programs. Master of Business Administration, Human Resources Management, MBAHRM. Semester I. MMPC-001 Management Functions and Organizational Processes. Block-1 Introduction to Management. Unit-1 Management, an overview.
The country. Objectives. After reading this unit, you should be able to define management and describe its purpose. Identify the nature of management. Understand the characteristics of management. Distinguish between administration and management. Understand the influence of management on the organization. Analyze the functions of management. Appreciate the challenges of management. 1.1 Introduction. One of the most important activities that all of us engage in is managing. Ever since human life started either to organize for food or shelter, the elements of management were subtly seen in all these activities. History also confirms the application of management techniques, which are visible even today. The Egyptian pyramids built centuries ago are evidence of excellent organizational skills of scores of workers in those times, thus making us believe that a number of management functions were in use long ago. Similarly, Indus Valley civilization also demonstrates the use of management techniques of a higher level of sophistication, considering the time it was built. Further, these instances also show that management has been an inherent part in human survival and organized activity as well. As societies grew, individuals could not achieve their goals individually, and hence their efforts as a group had to be coordinated through the management function. The groups increased in number, thus making the role of the managers critical for success in the contemporary context. Competition is the key driver for individuals and organizations in the current context. Never before the individual had a plethora of opportunities on the one hand and the challenging work environment on the other. Thus, competition for the individuals is for the jobs, resources, and rewards, making it mandatory for learning management skills. Similarly, the business landscape has changed remarkably, forcing organizations to compete for contracts, clients and customers, to effectively manage and deliver for retaining the clients, customers, so as to gain competitive advantage. This situation kindles our interest to know what is the meaning and definition of management. 1.2 Meaning and definition of management. It is not an exaggeration to state that everyone is a manager in some measure or the other in our daily lives. People confront different situations, contexts forcing them to manage the otherwise messy situations in a planned and organized way so as to achieve the goals. The levels, however, vary depending on the actors and actions. Thus, management could be understood as an activity with a goal accomplishment and results orientation, since an organization is embedded with groups of people working together towards an objective. Management is characterized by the interaction with others in the accomplishment of the task. It is in this context that Mary Parker Follett has defined management as the art of getting things done through the efforts of others. Although this definition relates to the accomplishment of the task and the people dimension, it has been elaborated further by Harold Kuntz and O'Donnell, when they brought the organized group into the definition. According to them, management is the process of getting things done through the organized group efforts. The people dimension has been the focus of Harold Kuntz, when they said, management means manage men tactfully, to label it manage men, t. As the meaning and definition evolved, the focus on the process gained importance. F. W. Taylor defined management as the art of knowing what you want to do in the best and cheapest way. In spite of various definitions, the dynamic nature of management makes it difficult to have a universally accepted definition encompassing all its dimensions in its entirety. In summary, the essence of management revolves around managing people and other resources in an organization, both internal and external, leading to the achievement of the objectives of the organization. The meaning could be better understood by examining the nature of management. 1.3 Nature of management. A debate continued for quite long on what exactly is the nature of management. One school of thought argues that management is a science, which the other school of thought disagrees and views as an art. Science represents a systematic body of knowledge with underlying principles that have universal application. Scientific procedure depends on reliability and validity based on experimentation and generalization. One of the principles of science also is to explain the cause and effect phenomenon with disciplined imagination. Applying these principles, management over the years has developed certain principles, laws, theories and generalizations which could be applied universally in a variety of organizations. Luther Gulick argues that management has a body of knowledge with underlying principles and is in the process of being called a science. He also contended that the interrelationship in the business scenario was being scientifically and systematically explained with emerging theories tested and proven and improved by logic and the facts on the ground. Scientific management proposed by F. W. Taylor was termed as scientific management, which is proof enough for the status of a science based on a numbers of experiments on the human beings on the shop floor using management techniques. As the field does not enjoy the status of an exact science in the nature of pure sciences like physics, chemistry etc., some argue it as an inexact science. Management deals with human beings and hence it is difficult to verify and predict the complex human behavior. The dynamic nature of management complicates it all the more in terms of verifiability, reliability, predictability and generalization. Further, management has to account for the contextual variation, which also makes it difficult to prove the exactness of a science. However, the scientific procedure, systematic analysis and methodological rigor used in management research along with advanced tools and techniques provides the field the much needed status to the discipline. Research in the allied areas like mathematics, statistics, psychology have added the scientific fervor to the discipline. In contrast, the other school of management thought argues that management cannot be equated with the logical, sequential and scientific methodology of basic sciences and hence, views management as an art. George Terry, a management thinker, states that, management is bringing about desired results through the application of skills. Art relates to the application of theories and principles in problem-solving activities. The manager applies his skills and competency built through his experience, exposure coupled with the intuition and judgment while discharging the functions of managerial decision-making. Continuous effort and deliberate practice makes the managers successful managers and they try to develop this art through skillful practice. The creativity and innovation that could be seen in the managerial function could be attributed to the mastery of this art by the managers. While the debate of management as a science or an art still continues, a third group of scholars contend that management could be a combination of both art and science. They argue that managerial activity is a creative art although it is becoming more scientific in nature. In addition, the theories and practice acknowledge unique characteristics which make it a distinct field. The nature of management could also be understood in terms of its status as a profession. A profession by definition is a certified vocation of individuals that enables applying the basics principles and practices under a certain given code of conduct. Given the above definition, effort has been made to consider to management as profession. The criteria for a profession, according to Edgar Schein, a psychologist, is a codified body of knowledge, a long period of formal education and training, specified criteria for entry, a code of conduct, code of ethics, professional tools, techniques, specialized fields of study, a professional body, association. These being the criteria to categorize as profession, management over its evolution has created a body of knowledge with underlying principles that could be applied uniformly across a variety of organizations. Most managers also go through a systematically prepared formal education in B school, university and complete the prescribed training in the course of the managerial functions. In addition, specialist accreditation agencies, like NAAC, NBC in the Indian context, evaluated the progress of teaching, learning institutions across the educational institutions in a country. Moreover, companies insist on ethical behavior demonstrated by a strict code of conduct. All these have instilled professionalism into the managerial function. The Association of Indian Management Schools, AIMS, examines and monitors the theory and practice of management by bringing together the academic institutions as members to deliberate on the status of imparting business education and training in India. On the other hand, AIMA, which is the All India Management Association, brings together majorly the practicing managers to discuss and deliberate on the practical issues faced by the managers. The efforts of these agencies along with the national and global policy makes management to be considered a profession, with managers as professionals offering professional service. Like any other profession, law, accounting etc., the field of management is slowly but surely attaining the status of a profession. In addition to the various perspectives put forward by different schools of thought, the nature of management could also be understood through a variety of characteristics that the field demonstrates. The characteristics of management are discussed in the following section. 1.4 Characteristics of management. Management is characterized by a few elements. They are 1.4.1 Management is a group activity. Since the organization reflects the social dimension, where individuals interact with each other in getting things done, individual efforts alone doesn't guarantee results. Moreover, management cannot be done in isolation and hence, includes group activity. Management is thus seen as integrating individual efforts through organized group activity. 1.4.2 Management is universal in its application. Management applies to government, business enterprises, education institutions, military, medical and non-governmental organizations in equal measure. The principles of management suggested by the German industrial psychologist Henry Fayol are considered as guiding principles which could be adapted to specific organizational context. 1.4.3 Management is a continuous activity. Management is dynamic in nature and hence is continuous. The ever-changing organizational activity provides continuity to management functions. 1.4.4 Management as an integrated effort. The process of management integrates the human and other resources in the achievement of the objectives of the organization. In the process, the individual goals and the organizational goals get aligned for effective functioning of the organization. 1.4.5 Management as a well-defined process. Management is considered unique because of the well-defined and clear-cut process of getting things done through the various functions of management. 1.4.6 Management is objective-driven and result-oriented. Organizations have clearly marked objectives and goals, the accomplishment of which is systematically driven by the management function. 1.4.7 Management as a set of roles and skills. It refers to an individual or a group of individuals who are actively involved in managerial function. The individuals are designated as managers and the group as management. The managers are expected to learn the managerial skills to perform their managerial roles effectively. 1.4.8 Management as a function. The management process is characterized by the functions that the manager performs. They are planning, organizing, staffing, directing, coordinating, controlling and budgeting. 1.4.9 Management as a discipline. Management as a discipline refers to a body of knowledge with unique pedagogical tools as taught in various educational institutions to impart the basic concepts and principles relating to the practice of management. Its importance is demonstrated by the glut on the growth of B-School across the globe and in India and the way it enjoys a prominent place in popular perception. 1.5 Management and administration. Management and administration are used interchangeably in most discourses, although they differ significantly in meaning and focus. Administration and management are represented by two groups, one led by British school of thought and other led by American researchers. The British scholars argue that management is much wider compared to administration and usually related to the top management. They contend that administration relates to carrying out the activities at the operational level. Scholars like Orway Teed, William Spriggle supporting the American school, advocate that administration is the thinking function and management is the implementing function. The role of administration according to them is policy formulation while the managers implement the policy and get involved in the day-to-day operations. The British school of thought argues that management is superior to administration. The focus of administration is on the immediate problems, while the management focus is on the long-term objectives. They maintain that management involves itself in the rule-making, rule-enforcing while administration engages itself with the situation on hand. According to them, management is a comprehensive concept and administration is a part of this. However, the contemporary thinking equates management and administration. Keith Davis is a supporter of this thinking. According to him, management process is essentially the same in all the organizations and hence, the management and administration have to essentially go through the same process and hence they remain the same. Harold Kuntz also maintained the same stand by observing that any distinction made between the two will be a misleading exercise. These observations by the modern thinkers has drawn a line between the two, making them distinct and unique. 1.6 The importance of management. Management plays an important role in an organization irrespective of the size, scale, scope and sector. It facilitates the growth of an organization and stimulates its activities so that the desired results could be achieved. It is important because of the following reasons. Effective management leads to optimum utilization of resources. Factors like men, materials, money and machines can be effectively utilized only through management. Organizations function through teams and groups. Managers provide the leadership and direct the members of the team towards the achievement of group and organizational goals. Thus, management facilitates the achievement of the individual, team and organizational goals by leading them towards the achievement of the desired objectives. Management helps in the smooth functioning of the organization through a proper allocation of tasks to the members and monitoring the implementation effectively. This helps the organization to have cordial interpersonal employee relations and sound industrial relations in the organizations. Organizations are influenced by a number of internal and external challenges in the organizational environment. The planned activities might get displaced in the event of uncertainty and suddenness of change. Management monitors such changes in the environment and takes care of planned activity by helping the employee to adapt to the changed situation. The recent adaptation to the changes at the workplace due to the pandemic is an excellent example of such a situation. Management contributes significantly to an improvement in the standard of the organization. Successful managers innovate practices which leads to an improvement of individuals and organizational standards, thus facilitating the creation of best practices in the organization. For example, every year the list of most admired companies globally and most admired CEOs serve as an example for the improvement in the standards of both the industry leaders and organization. Activity 2. Take the example of any successful organization in India and reflect on how management contributed to its success. 1.8 Functions of management. All managers, irrespective of the level top, middle and lower, perform management functions. However, the time spent by the managers on these activities differ based on the level at which they are placed. For example, the top managers spend more time on planning and organizing, whereas middle-level managers spend more time on leading the group, directing and controlling. Similarly, the lower levels spend more time on organizing themselves to execute the task. The primary functions of management are generally grouped under 5 heads: planning, organizing, staffing, directing and controlling. Figure 1 as proposed by Kuntz, O'Donnell. Figure 1 source Harold Kuntz and O'Donnell. Look at the screen. Different thinkers explained the functions in different ways. Luther Gulick discussed the function of management through the acronym POSDCORB, which relate to P. Planning, O. Organizing, S. Staffing, D. Directing, Co-coordinating, R. Reporting, B. Budgeting. According to Gulick, managers generally perform these functions in the course of their work. Henry Fayol has listed the acronym POCCC as the functions of management. According to him, managers perform 5 functions. They are P. Planning, O. Organizing, C. Coordinating, C. Controlling, C. Commanding. In general, the primary functions of management are categorized into 5 functions: planning, organizing, staffing, directing and controlling. According to management thinkers, the controlling function includes coordinating, reporting and budgeting. The functions are discussed below. 1.7.1 Planning. Planning is preparation for future action. It relates to an activity which bridges the gap between the present and future. The planning function starts after the broad organizational objectives are spelled out to decide the future course of action. This is an all-pervasive function and hence applies to all the levels of management. The functions include setting objectives, strategies, policy formulation and the consequent laying down of the procedures and programs for the achievement of objectives. It is future-oriented and determines the direction in which the organization is moving. This function involves the ability to foresee the effects of current action in the long run. Planning incorporates both external and internal factors. Some of the external factors include organizational ability to borrow finances, raw materials, economic environment, advancement of technology, global and national policy etc., while the internal factors include organizational policy, intellectual capital, the financial stability of the organization etc. Planning thus is a continuous activity and determines the future of the organization. 1.7.2 Organizing. Organizing is related to the structure of an organization with clearly defined lines of authority and responsibility, through which the work is allotted, monitored and coordinated so that each division and department relate to each other to work together for the achievement of organizational objectives. It involves activities like delegation, fixing authority and responsibility for a smooth conduct of work. Thus, it involves the identification of tasks, assigning the tasks, defining and delegating the authority and establishing clear lines of authority and responsibility. The functions also include the blending together of the different factors and actors so that it results in a smooth function in the organization. 1.7.3 Staffing. Staffing relates to finding the right people for the right job in the given structure of the organization. It starts with the design of the job, identifying the job analysis, thus, paving the way for the recruiting, selecting, placing the people initially and promoting them at later stage. It also includes the functions of developing the people through training for efficient and effective functioning of their assigned work. Thus, it involves the activity of hiring and retaining the people with skills, competencies, knowledge and right attitude which makes the functions very critical in organizational success. 1.7.4 Directing. This functions involves providing good leadership, communication channels, motivation and supervision so that employees are able to function efficiently to attain the desired goals. It consists of the process and techniques which issues the required instruction and monitoring the operation for smooth functioning. The managers communicate and transmits the message for smooth flow of work. The organizational experience has enough evidence of miscommunication or improper communication leading to organizational failure across the world. It's thus a critical element in the function of direction. Similarly, teams and groups of people require proper guidance from the leaders for effective functioning. Leadership relates to the process of influencing the behavior of people on the job. Leaders motivate the individuals and influence them towards the achievement of individual, group and organizational objectives. Monitoring and supervising the work of the group provides the assurance of the goal of accomplishment in line with the plan. This activity tracks the progress of the groups and provides the confidence to the leader that the directions are being properly carried out. 1.7.5 Controlling. The function of control consists of those activities that are undertaken to influence that there is no deviation in the plan. The control process includes setting of the standards, performance target and measures along with corrective action that is taken at different stages of the control process. This function is always misunderstood and throws up a negative connotation of restricting people in their job. This function aims at checking whether organizational objectives are met and action that could be taken in future as the work is in progress. Normally, the budgets, the audit of records, payroll of employees, the items of expenditure etc. are common examples of checking deviation. This function provides the leads to the planning function by monitoring and checking the deviations. An organization performs these 5 functions of management which are closely interrelated, yet distinct from each other. 1.8 Challenges of management. Organizations require effective management, but there are several challenges which management has to encounter for effectiveness. Some of the challenges are 1.8.1 Globalization. A number of economies have embraced liberalization, globalization, privatization, LPG, which presupposes that the economies be a signatory and follow the guidelines in terms of trade laid down by the global agencies like the World Trade Organization, International Labour Organization and also similar agencies which the economies form at the regional level like European Union, South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation etc. It describes the interdependence of economies, cultures and people because of the cross-border trade of goods and services, technology, flows of investment, information and communication. This interconnectedness across people and businesses leads to cultural, political and economic integration across the economies in the world. Since business could be conducted internationally, management has to take care of the communication challenges, people-related challenges and business-related challenges. In terms of communication, the role of Internet and the ICT has transformed the world of work and the way businesses are carried out. For example, TCS, an IT company rooted in India, manages its businesses at several locations in the world using the ICT. Millions of users have gone online, and global events like the COVID-19 situation has brought new users in the developing world like China, India, Brazil etc. As the number of new users is increasing, they are forced to develop content in their own language and customize it to their use on the mobiles and laptops. Thus, the Internet has become a force for connecting people regardless of time and location, making it easy for the manager to monitor and manage, but the challenges remain in terms of connectivity, security, speed and other factors. Further, in developing nations like India, the penetration of Internet, especially in the rural areas and hilly regions, in addition to these problems, throws up the challenge of computer illiteracy, as a good number of citizens have a low level of education, literacy levels. In terms of people-related issues, globalization facilitates the acquisition of talent from across the world. The companies benefit by not only having the required talent from across the world, but also use people for back-end support. Many of the MNCs like GE, Microsoft, Accenture, IBM, Google, Apple, etc. have employees who work outside the United States. Similarly, car manufacturers like Renault, Hyundai, Honda conduct their manufacturing operations in India to stay in competition. Thus, globalization has enabled the companies to stay competitive and yet provide service and manufacture products at a competitive cost. The business-related challenges can be seen more in terms of a global marketplace for goods and services. Many companies not only export their products but also assemble their products in other countries. Businesses are thus forced to improve their standard, quality and features to attract the global customer in view of a globalized world. For example, auto giants like Honda, Hyundai etc. are forced to compete with the local Indian auto players like Tata Motors, who manufacture affordable, cost-effective passenger cars with unique features to suit the Indian road and weather conditions. Thus, globalization has thrown up many opportunities and challenges as well. 1.8.2 Technology. The impact of globalization has been quite significant on technology and the technological changes. Technology has revolutionized every sector. It both complicates things and creates new opportunities. The speed with which technological changes take place affect the communication patterns, information content and knowledge that gets generated, stored and can be retrieved for organizational use. The world is a witness to the significant changes that has taken place in the technology front, with the hardware and software in relation to a computer or other consumables like keyboards, monitors, mouse, the CPU and other parts. Even in terms of music, we have come a long way from a tape recorder to an audio cassette to a CD to a stage where currently music is embedded in the mobile phone itself. We also hear that Google search can be done in more than 100 languages. Technology is important to business because it serves as a marketplace, a means for manufacturing goods and services, a communication medium, a distribution channel, information service etc. Technology provides access to a wide range of information, thus making the decision-making function of the manager efficient and effective. In addition, we are all a witness to the design of new products in many sectors including banking and financial services. Today, technology helps in banking from anywhere for any banking services and products, be it for account summary, investment summary, credit, debit card services including ATM, to housing loan information, vehicle and personal loan services. The list is endless, and today the citizens across the world are accustomed to digital payments, digital banking, and all this is possible only through the technological advancement. Thus, if globalization has stretched the work days of some people, technological advancement has made it possible to connect people anytime, anywhere. Cell phones, handy tablets, sleek laptops with wireless connection have connected people across the world. In situations like the current pandemic, it is technology alone which has come to the rescue of businesses and people to deliver the services across the world. 1.8.3 Workforce Diversity. Diversity, in English, means variety. Diversity exists in organizations when there is a variety of demographic, cultural and personal differences among the people who work there. Diversity makes good business sense by helping companies attract and retain talented workforce. Diverse-friendly companies attract better and more diverse job applicants. In short, diversity is no longer about counting heads, it is about making heads count, said the Vice President of Diversity and Inclusion at PepsiCo. While there are advantages of diversity, experience, insight and creativity of a diverse workforce, managers also have challenges in dealing with diverse workforce. In terms of demographics, companies hire young executives in good numbers, which makes it difficult for the manager to team them up with seniors and experienced people. Similarly, companies also hire from different cultures, social and ethnic groups and backgrounds, which make it difficult to manage in a multicultural environment. During the last decade, diversity and inclusion policies of the companies mandated hiring women and from different classes, regions of the nation, globe. The inherent characteristics, personality, perception, attitudes of diverse people differ, which is a challenge to management. Currently, a good amount of awareness training, skill-based diversity training, diversity audits, etc. are being followed by companies to manage diversity. 1.8.4 Innovation. Innovation is the introduction of new goods and services. Companies are forced to innovate to bring changes in their goods and services and stay in competition. Thus, innovation becomes the key to sell the goods or to satisfy the customer's preferences. Innovation is all-pervasive and has become an important ingredient in business success when e-commerce has been introduced in a big way. Considering the situation like the pandemic where all the traditional distribution channels have been transformed to attract the buyers directly, marketing and sales had to be innovated to remain competitive. Globalization has been a critical driver for innovation. Businesses have to offer products or service their clients using innovative techniques, methods to deliver the same at a lower price to stay competitive. Organizational experience evidences innovative business models and practices, not only to seize the available opportunity in the business environment, but also achieve competitive advantage. For example, Reliance Industries in India started its operations in textiles and expanded it to every sector: retail, petrochemical, digital, footwear, communication, including geo. Companies thus are required to foster an innovative environment, and the managers have to manage the skills, competencies of innovative people strategically for organizational success. 1.8.5 Ethics and Governance. Globalization has introduced the concept of businesses with no borders, thus allowing businesses to operate anywhere across the world. Managing businesses requires strict adherence to business ethics on a professional level. Governance presupposes the understanding of the rules and regulations, policies and procedures in the different corners of the world, along with the cultural, societal and personal expectations of ethical actions. Thus, compliance to the ethical code of conduct in business becomes a critical concern for all managers. 1.8.6 Quality. Quality reflects the excellence of the product or service. The acceptable standards of quality have dramatically increased over the years. Providing world-class quality requires adherence to what quality entails. It can be measured in terms of product performance, reliability, customer service, durability, appearance, quality standards, etc. It is a management challenge to ensure the quality of the product or service. Companies continually innovate so as to add new features as per customer preference and provide services as per the client satisfaction. For example, a quality product like fruits and vegetables, which are organically grown, would be preferred by the customers than those grown with chemicals or frozen foods for health, wellness and well-being. 1.8.7 Cost. Consumers compare cost before making a purchase decision. One reason why the companies worry about cost is because cost leadership always ensures a company's competitiveness. Globalization has provided a wide choice in all the product line for the consumers. Managing the cost requires efficient management of available resources and minimizing waste, all the same ensuring a quality product or service. For example, Reliance Jio, the internet service provider in India, which was launched recently, has challenged established players like Airtel, BSNL, and Vodafone in terms of providing internet connectivity with its popular low-cost packages. 1.8.8 Change Management. 3 facts about change: that it is everywhere, It is constantly present and the pace of change is experienced by everyone in the current context. Consciously or unconsciously, people dislike change and resist change. In reality, however, change is inevitable and the speed with which the pace of change is taking place is increasing day by day. Contemporary organizations have to welcome change and evolve strategies to survive in the competitive scenario. Factors like technology, cost, and competition have provoked change management in business. Managers have to don the role of a change agent to manage the resistance to change and make change more as the nature of a habit in the process of change management. For example, the changes in learning and development area are so fast that the individuals have no choice than to learn them through internet, e-learning and other online modes willingly in the organizational context. 1.9 Summary. Management is defined variously by different authors. Managing organizations through people has been agreed by a majority of them. In practice, it is a process of continually and consciously shaping organizations. All the organizations have people who are responsible for helping them achieve their goals. These people are referred to as managers. The managers perform a number of functions and face a number of challenges to manage the organizations effectively. Thank you. Subscribe to our channel for more updates, and we will see you with the next chapter.